Hey friends, welcome to the wood shop. It's your old friend Mr. Kern here. Today I'm going to talk about the lathe, which I've wanted to do for a long time. So what we have here is one of these mini lathes. A lot of people make pins and stuff on, but I can teach you the same concepts, I guess, on this as on a big one. So there's like a spindle turning where you have like a square piece normally, and then it goes in here and spins. And you've got a faceplate turning. This is where you take one of these fancy face plates and you put your thing on there. This would be like if you want to make a bowl or something like that. You can also throw a chuck on there. Throw a chuck on there and then grab something. Do it that way. So we'll talk about spindle turning. I got this square wood. If it's big, like say 4 inches, I ought to bevel these corners off. Otherwise, it's just going to be too clunky when it boom, 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 boom hits these corners, you know. But for a little guy like this will be fine. So the first thing I need to do is I need to find my centers, and then I'm going to actually cut a kerf in this one so that the little drive center can go down in here. So I'm going to show you how to find your centers. We're going to take a nice straight edge like this piece of board wood here, and I'm just going to go from corner to corner. Here I go. Corner to corner, corner to corner. Okay, so to make the kerf on the other side, I like to use the bandsaw because I'm not a big handsaw guy. So I set up a B block, as you'll see over here. Maybe you won't see. Will you see that? Go ahead. And I'm just going to take my piece of wood and cut a small little kerf in there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just like that, my friends. Okay, now I take this rod, pop this little spur out, grab the world's tiniest hammer. There it is. Look at that little cutie. That's nice, right? I'm going to whack that thing in there. Oh yeah, so those little teeth in the spur are catching that thing. Okay, so I'm going to slide this thing out of the way here. Yep, this is called the tail stock, pretty sure. Come on, baby girl. Oh, come on. There you go. It's all on the wrist. Get this thing in here. Yep. And then I'm going to bring that tail stock up. Needs a little wax on this bed. That's what I need. A little wax. Line my center up with the center on that. And suck that baby in. Get that thing good and taut. There's a few different types of centers, but I'm not an expert on this. I don't know all the details on there, but I know one of them you have to put like wax on, and your piece actually spins on it, and it burns a little hole in it, and then some of them spin themselves. This one spins itself. Oh yeah, so I got my tool rest here. I'm going to line it up, and before I start, what do you think I want to do? I'm going to rotate that by hand and make sure that all those corners are going to clear, because there's a chance that I got that a little off center, you know. There's a chance it might clear here, but then it doesn't clear on that one. Okay, so rotate that by hand. I want my tool rest to be 1/8 of an inch away. So then as I turn in there, as I start cutting in there, I'm going to have to keep scooting it in. I also want it to be so my tool is 1/16 above the center of it being turned. So there's lots of different kinds of tools. The 3 that we have are a gouge. Yep. Then we've got this, what they call a parting tool. And then we've got what they call a skew right there. What we really need is a round nose, and I don't think we have one. So I found this old thing, got it sharpened up. We'll give it a shot. Okay, so before we turn it on for the first time, we want to stand to the side, just in case we didn't get it mounted right. If it comes flying off, we want it to fly off, not in our face. Turn this baby on. It has a variable speed, and so I can slow it down and speed it up. So I like to start it off kind of slow and then bring it up. And then we're going to basically rough this thing into shape. So we're getting rid of the corners. I'm going to start off with my skew. You can run this thing with a flat on here. I mean, it works. It does work fine. But I've watched some pros do this before, and when the pros do it, they like to turn it in to whichever direction they're feeding. So if they're feeding this way, they turn it this way. Feeding the other way, they turn it the other way. So I just try that a little bit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So I've basically just started knocking those corners off, and then eventually I have to scoot this thing in a little bit so there's not a big gap there, otherwise my tool can get stuck down in there. Okay, well, I think I'd like all you guys to give this a shot of just roughing this out. We'll just turn it on. It's good speed there. Hang on to this thing real tightly, and we're just going to ease into it and take a little off. Oh yeah, all right, give it a shot. Oh yeah, of course, you probably want to take that itchy jacket off. You don't want to catch your sleeves in here and then it rips your arm off and then your arm comes and whacks you in the head. I've seen it 1,000 times. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah. All right, you hear that chatter? That's your tool vibrates thing. So just keep that down a little tighter on that. Oh yeah, there we go. Here's the shop tip of the day. If you're wondering if it's round yet or not, if you set your tool on top and your tool gallops like a horse, then you know it's not round yet. That's the shop tip of the day. All right, I'm going to slide. So I loosen this thing here, and I'm going to slide this in a little bit. Make sure it's going to clear. Yep, looks good. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, just flip that little thing. There you go. Yep. Okay, now put one hand back here so you have real good control. There you go. And then I like to, you can do it this way, but I like to just rest one finger on that tool rest just so I have something to, just so I'm not just like shoving it in there. Oh yeah, look at you go. Okay, now one time I want you to be real aggressive with this. I want you to grab it like this, or if you're right-handed like this, and you're basically just gonna get in there and you're gonna just kind of clean that thing off. I'll let you do the other half. I'll let you try that one time. I'll let you do that little guy there. Yeah, maybe turn your hand the other way, like this, like with your palm. Is that your palm? Yeah, like. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, look at you go. Easy. Yeah. Beautiful. That's how the pros do it. I've seen them before. Oh, you're natural, Jonathan. Okay, now let's pretend I'm trying to make something. I'm not just out here hanging out. So if I wanted to get, if I'm trying to copy something, what I would do is sometimes I make a pattern. Sometimes I'll just line it up and I'll make some marks on here. And then I can set my pencil right on the tool rest and spin it a boot, and it'll make that line all the way along. Okay, so if I'm trying to copy this, I'll call that a cove. If I'm trying to copy that, I'll take my calipers here and get these set up to whatever thickness that is. Okay, yep. And then what I like to do is I like to make it just a hair bigger. That way I got some room to clean it up a little bit. All right, so right there, that's where that line is. It's this thick. So then I take my parting tool, not party tool, parting tool. I'm going to start in there. I better scoot that tool rest in, tool, get a little groove started here. Okay, and then I can check it. And I'm just going to take that on down until this thing barely slips in here. Now, the pros will do that while they're going. Okay. Okay. So I take that parting tool, and then the pros will actually just take this and very gently get that right until it slips in there. Okay. I would prefer you just shut it off and check it, because that can be dangerous if you're not experienced with the lathe. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so then once I had it to that point, then I might make the 2 lines for this taller part and figure out how tall those are, and then I've got a way to track that. We can cut with the skew. We can scrape. Scraping is when you go flat, and that'll clean this up a little bit. It'll make it look real nice. You can actually take this skew and cut with it like a knife, but it's a lot more difficult to do. So I prefer you just lay it flat and use it as a scraper. And we just scrape that around there. Okay, that's going to be the best way to do that. The pros can do it the other way. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's, that's that. That's pretty much that. I got this gigantic round nose I kind of want to try out. Could still use some sharpening, it appears. Okay, great. All right, enough about that. That's a spindle turning. Okay, I'm going to show you a faceplate turning. So if I was making a bowl, this might be how I'd make it. Of course, I'd probably want to get a bigger lathe than what I have here. I'm not going to be able to make a very big bowl. So on a faceplate, I take my block of wood, I get it roughed out into the circle. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this thing out, this little drive center spur. This thing just threads on. So thread that baby on there. Yep. Take my tool rest, and I'm going to spin it around this way. I tell you what, just so I have a little bit more room, I'm just going to get this thing out of here. Oh, yeah. Now, that's going to be to do the inside. If I have my tool rest this way. And what they say is you don't want to use a gouge on a faceplate turning. I don't know why. I don't know if these shoulders can catch or something. They do make special gouges called bowl gouges that are specifically for this, but I don't know. So I would probably use this round nose. We take this thing and we just basically start hauling this out. So when we do a faceplate, we want to turn on the down turning side. We want to be over here. If we go on this side, our tool is just going to fly up. All right, so I'm going to ease in here. And I'm basically just going to take this on down. Now, if you're actually going to make a bowl, I'm going to give you some way more pointers in this video. I just kind of wanted you to see the difference between a faceplate and a spindle turning. And I'll probably bring some better tools. Okay, shop tip of the day would be if I take my tool rest, not my tool rest, my tail stock here, if I can get it back in there, I can put a drill chuck in there. So if I put my drill chuck in there, see if I can get this thing out. Come on, baby. Should I try that rod? Old hot rod here. Come on. Oh, yeah. So if I put this little drill chuck in there, I can actually take a drill bit, stick it in here, and then I can thread that drill bit in there. Well, this is spinning instead of the drill bit spinning. It's like the opposite of a drill. And I can drill a hole to where I want the bottom of that bowl to be, which, number one, it makes it easier to get rid of that little nipple right there. And number two, then when I get to the bottom of that hole that I've kind of measured, I know I'm as far as I want to go on my bowl. That makes sense? Good, good. All right, same thing on here. If I want to start working on this thing, like getting it into my bowl shape, I just flip that around. Now I can use the gouge if I'd prefer. I get the, oh, did you guys see what I didn't do? Did you see it? I forgot to rotate that by hand to make sure it wasn't going to hit. because that hasn't been turned circular yet. Lesson learned. It's the least professional video you've probably seen since you watched my last video. Oh yeah. Great, look at that beauty. Okay, one last thing. Forgot to tell you about it. It's still not around there. One last thing. When I get done, I can sand this. Okay, now I'd normally wait till it was all clean and everything. When I sand it, I have to move the tool rest out of the way because I don't want my fingers to get caught in there. And then with that out of the way, sometimes I'll take a piece of sandpaper and just kind of do this with it. Of course, I'd wear a dust mask so I wasn't breathing in all this toxic dust. Or sometimes I just go ahead and just do it like this, but if you push too hard, you get a lot of friction and then your fingers get burnt. So don't push too hard, but that'll really clean it up. And that's just like regular sanding. We'll work up through the grits, 100 grit, get rid of all your chips and everything. Then move up to 150, 220. Okay, any questions? Well, that's my demonstration on the wood lathe there. Great, thanks for your attention.